Sup, dudes? I'm Kosal, your local dungeon.
Looks like he couldn't handle the hatred in my blade. Huh. Pathetic. I've got a confession to make. I'm a huge fan of edgy D&D characters. Nothing gets my rocks off more than a character with dark secrets and a sanguine taste of lies on his lips. I don't care what anybody says, being an edgelord is cool. Unfortunately, most of you probably suck at it. It's not your fault though. It's naturally ingrained in our minds to want to be Ryan Gosling from Drive. But, as none of us are Ryan Gosling, instead of cool and aloof autistic, you probably just come off as normally autistic. Role-playing edginess at your D&D table is a goddamn art form. It's one of the few character archetypes you can't easily copy from a movie. But don't worry, my little ugly duckling, I'll show you how to be edgy, all without being cringe. Well, maybe a little cringe. A tasteful amount of cringe. Open wide.
Bang. Consider it edging. When it comes to being an edgelord, a lot of people will misunderstand what that entails. A lot of people go balls to the walls right from the beginning, trying to live out their Sigma Alpha Wolf grind, listening to Andrew Tate gooning to domestic abuse spats, and jerking it to David Goggins' motivational speeches, playing to the tune of a shitty anime Playboy Cardi remix. What the fuck did I just say? Was that a real sentence? Point is, edgy traits are inherently selfish. Nothing wrong with that. But tabletops are a group-focused game, so you want to play in a way that doesn't take away from the fun of the table. You gotta know when it's appropriate to edge with your boys. Avoid becoming a caricature of what you sought out to be, unless that's what you want. But we'll get to that later. Sure, you can have group spats and various decisions. Well-placed disputes make a good campaign, in my opinion. But sometimes, you gotta learn to silence that little voice in your head that's saying, "That's what my character would do." Learn when to shut the fuck up. And that's some advice some people can take in real life too. What the hell do you mean, you goddamn sucking mother piece of shit? My apologies. I did not mean that. You're free to have your own opinions, and that's fine. Unless it conflicts with mine, you eating mother.
Why do you edge?
Motivations are very important when it comes to being an edgelord. You gotta have a reason for why you're being all weird. Your backstory is key in this. It's what gives your character the motivations to do what they do. But more importantly, you gotta keep up with this ideology you form around your character. I find that a lot of people will gradually lose this trait as they continue to play. Remember, you're playing an edgy character. That means you're always gonna be one step away from entering into murder hobo territory. Think very carefully if something you wanna do is actually core to your character's identity. But also realize that your friends at the table are not psychics. Well, unless he looks like this, then be very careful of his powers. Now, I know you want to be super mysterious. That's just a given to edgy characters. But sometimes, you gotta let the folks know some things about yourself. Otherwise, you just come off as insane. There's no point in making an intricate backstory if nobody but the DM knows about it. I'm not saying you gotta give them everything. Just a few crumbs, a tiny bit at a time. Kinda like Alternatively, another way to pull off being edgy is to become a caricature of the archetype. And before you write your little comment, I'm not giving you permission to be a total asshole in your campaign. What I mean is to play up the edge factor, to where it's kind of funny, kind of like Virgil from Devil May Cry. He's got some of the corniest lines known to man, but damn if that also isn't both the coolest and funniest things I've ever seen. There's also Spider-Man when he gets infected by Venom. That's some funny stuff right there. But just like most things in life, you gotta find a balance. Not everybody can be funny 100% of the time. Also, you gotta actually be funny. That's a key component. But luckily, comedy is a skill just like any other thing. So just accept that you might start off a little shaky. Eventually, you'll get into the groove and learn to perfect the craft of being ironically edgy. Future editing Kosal here. I was looking for some stock footage and I found this. And now that I look at it closer, I gotta ask, is this an Asian guy doing blackface, or is this just like a regular black guy? I honestly can't tell. It's throwing me off. I gotta know. Or maybe he's mixed. I honestly don't know. I just had to get that out there. Sorry. Back to the video. But before you dive into this, it's important to make sure that this type of edgy character fits into the world you're heading into. Sometimes caricatures don't fit the tone of the environment, so you want to get together with your DM and ask them what's appropriate. It's a common courtesy to let them know what you're about to do, so don't be that guy. The world could be a lot more serious than what you think. So maybe Raiden from Metal Gear isn't the best type of character to bring into a campaign with darker tones, like Kosal and I. Match your characters to your campaign.
Achieving edge enlightenment.
In my opinion, a good edgy character is someone that is more than simply being a depressing ball and chain. A bad one is someone that's just annoying. It's like having a friend that complains all day about not being able to get any girls because of his looks, but in reality, he's just an emotional cuckold that can't hold a conversation that doesn't involve how Bethesda fumbled their Fallout bag. I mean, they kinda did, but we're in a bar. I don't need you to give me the breakdown right now, buddy. Good edgy characters are diverse characters. They're not always sad and bring down the mood. Let's take young Kratos, for example. Super fun to play in video game format, but put him in a D&D campaign where his sole mission is to ruin the entire session for everyone? Not as fun. But take new Kratos, who's just a tired and broken old man. That's some goddamn story development. He maintains that edge, but he's also shown to care for a few select people. He understands the cons that come with immeasurable rage. If you ask me, that's goddamn beautiful. The downfall of many of the edgelords is being a one-dimensional character. The art is finding a way to incorporate subtle details that helps the audience in understanding a character. Your backstory sets the pathway for how your character initially responds to things, but you set the time and pace for when they're ready to diverge and go down a new trail. And that goes for any good type of character, especially so for edgy ones. And Jen, even the edgiest of characters are people with feelings, love, aspirations, dreams, and they don't realize that there are people that care for them. Black, white, gay, straight, D&D Beyond subscriber. When you wake up, it doesn't matter who you are. The sun is always going to rise for you. And even if you're the edgiest person, all you need is to realize that you just have to tap back into who you were as a child, as a teen, as a young adult, and finally, an individual proud of what you've become. Never feeling like they have to fit into some sort of ideal edgelord model. Because maybe the edge that we have is what was inside of us all along. And the key to keeping that going is always believing in yourself, not looking at what others want us to be. Being edgy is more than just lies and deceit. It's a way of life. The edgelord is a misunderstood and broken individual. Just like anybody else, they seek the comforts of relationships and happiness. They just don't know how to get to that finish line. And this is a journey that we all have to figure out on our own. Because I'm just a man with a microphone. I'm not you. I'll never be you. And that's just something nobody can ever take away from you.
Except for me, baby. I'm the best that's ever done it. I'm literally the god of roleplay. You couldn't find me following any of that pansy advice. I'm the greatest dungeon master that's ever lived. None of these other D&D YouTubers got shit on me. I'm literally Ryan Gosling, baby.